The April 16th, 2020 Kildover Hills Planning Board meeting will come to order. Roll call. Mike Lowak.
Present.
Ron Sedman.
Present.
Mark Evans.
Here.
And Howard Buchanan is here. Have a motion for agenda approval.
This is Mark. I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Mike Lowak will second.
There you go.
Sorry, Ron.
We have a motion for agenda approval by Mark Evans, seconded by Mike Lowak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the minutes from March 17th. Motion. Excuse me.
This is Mike Lowak commenting. I'd had an email stating that the minutes showed that Michael Odell was present and he wasn't. I couldn't find it in my typed ones, but I just wanted to bring it up since it was mentioned to me. Did anybody else see that?
Also,
Eddie.
I saw one from Eddie.
I saw Eddie Valdivieso send an email saying that he was not present and the minutes needed to reflect that.
Okay,
Yes.
I must have misinterpreted then.
That was Meredith.
Sorry, I've been getting so many. It's been hard for me to just keep track of them.
Should we have a motion for the approval of the March 17th minutes with the adjustment to remove Katie Valdivieso?
As being
Yeah.
present, yes.
Yes.
Who made the motion?
Mike Lowak will make the motion that we approve the minutes as presented with the deletion of Eddie Valdivieso as being present.
Second.
This is Ron. I'll second.
Motion made for approval of minutes with the adjustment of removing Eddie by Mike Lowak, seconded by Ron Sedman. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Time for public comment.
Chair Buchanan, the town has not received any electronic mail to date containing public comment.
Thank you. No old business, new business. Site plan Harris Teeter Fuel Center. Cameron, please.
All right, good morning, everybody. Cameron Ray, Assistant Planning Director. Under new business this morning, we have a site plan review for Harris Teeter Fuel Center at 2006 South Carrollton Highway in the commercial zone. It's a proposed 7 manual dispenser fuel pumps, 540 square foot walk-in kiosk, canopy, 2 underground storage tanks, and 9 parking spaces. Enclosed in your packet, you had an application, site development plans, response to review comments, willingness to serve from KDH wastewater treatment, kiosk plan, stormwater memorandum, lighting plan, water meter sizing forms, all submitted by Harris Teeter Properties LLC to construct this site plan. The applicant has addressed most of staff's initial technical review comments. However, the following conditions remain to be addressed. Under planning, we've got one item under commercial building exterior, and this is an architectural variation in the canopy. They have already provided us a response letter to all of these comments, actually, that was submitted yesterday that you did not get in your packet. The applicant has agreed to make this change and correction, and staff feels like this will be easily addressed. Next condition was from Pete Berkheimer, and it was a note that he had made that just got misunderstood. And there was one other regarding the neighboring property that Harris Teeter owns, as most of you know, the grocery store. Harris Teeter actually does not own that property. So we had a couple of initial comments for the entrance to what is currently going to the grocery store. I'm sure some people have seen some scary things there in the past. So, we were trying to make some suggestions to how to make that better. Harris Teeter actually does not own that property, nor is it even in conjunction with this this site plan review. They are totally separate parcels. So just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that, because we had made a couple comments regarding how we could maybe tweak that to make it better, but they do not own that parcel. So they're working on talking to them as well to maybe make some changes to improve that. Additionally, Maggie Jones with Kimley Horn, who did the design work, she is on this call as well. And Garrett, I can't really read your last name, Maravets with Harris Teeter. He's on the call as well. So while I'm reading through these conditions or anything, if anybody has any questions for them, Maggie is who we've been working with on all the design work, and she'll be happy to answer any questions. Getting back to those comments, Public Services wants a note to be shown for solid waste. It is going to be serviced by a private hauler. They stated that in a response comment, but it was not placed on the site plan, and they'll take care of that. And then under streets, they would like to see a detail for the appropriate NCDOT drop inlet, and they've also agreed to show that as well. So staff recommends that the planning board.
Sometime she's a real sketchy agent, it seems like.
So what? Background.
Okay, gotcha. This time, staff recommends that the planning board forward the plan to the Board of Commissioners with a favorable recommendation after the above listed conditions have been addressed. Any questions, I'll try and answer for you, or if not, Maggie or Garrett will reach out as well.
Flexibility, but doesn't want to start out
Anybody?
right now. He says that he wants to see what our marketing will do.
I just had one question, Cameron. Maybe you can clarify this to me or for me. Is there any sort of agreement or ordinance for properties like this that would share typical driveways or parking lots to grant egress between them without having to join or use the bypass or another road? I could be wrong, or I could be thinking about another town, but I seem to think or recall something about that maybe being a possibility.
So, Mike, I think what you're thinking of is when you're on a corner lot. When you develop on a corner lot, you're required to have your entrance on the right-of-way that is not US 158. So, for example, right next door at Dollar Tree, if Dollar Tree was built today, as it is today, they would only be able to have an entrance on 8th Street, not onto US 158. But this property being landlocked and only abutting US 158, they are granted access onto the highway. Our ordinance does promote interconnectivity of sites such as this, where they're connecting to the neighboring property, and it does not tax them on lot coverage. So hoping to keep people to maybe either go to the light or not trying to hop back onto that dangerous highway. So.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like what exists between where the Dimensions Hair Salon and right next to it is a Surf Pediatrics. It looks like their parking lots connect, so you can come from one road, or if you're in there, you can access the south property or vice versa. That was my question. I do know if you're a corner lot, you're required to come off the bypass in any way, because that's what I'm getting to, was the fact that there's a curb cut at the north right by where the building of Ocean Commerce Park is, and then there's another one right before where the entrance is to what's now the dollar store. And I know that one into the Ocean Commerce Park is very, very difficult to come out and make re-entry on the 158, especially if you're trying to go northbound. So I was just trying to get out there or view an opinion or a thought that, I know since they're different owners of the properties, nothing can really be done, but it would make sense if it were to flow in through there, then exit back out to the north entrance into Harris Teeter, and then the traffic be diverted back out to 8th Street and back around. I know it's just a thought or a hope or a wish, just to try to keep traffic flowing and accidents down.
Cameron, this is Mark. I got a quick question for you on that
Okay.
radius matter. Now, in the past, when you were coming out of that road that we're discussing now, you could only make a right-hand turn to go south. You could not turn left to go north, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You're talking about the current entrance into the grocery store?
Yes, correct.
Correct.
So, and I saw in these plans that there was some comment about having that exit driveway to be just a little bit to the west so they couldn't go out and go across over to the Dollar Tree, which would make it a little more difficult, or maybe a traffic accident or T-bone or something there. So it kind of forced them to go in, make a right, leaving out of the gas station, and then would cut through the parking lot and put them back out on 8th Street. Is that correct?
That's correct. Also, the concern with moving that entrance further west was it being closer to the highway. If you're still doing 15 or 20 miles an hour, you were talking a mere 1 to 2 seconds before you'd be at that entrance where it connected to that property. So we wanted to get it as far away from that intersection as we could. And they were very, very willing to work with us to make that happen. And also, you know, and when you're looking at that, also the entrance that's on 158, they're also marking that no left turns there. As we know, we've got those, you know, in numerous places, and some people listen to them and some don't. But you know, we're trying to promote that.
Got you.
That
Okay.
no left turn, certainly.
That's kind of what that's my only concern. I was, as Mike was saying as well, to make sure that it kind of guides them back into the Harris Teeter parking lot where it wouldn't, unless you're coming out to make your right-hand turn to go south, and that's fine. They can make their way out of it. So.
Sure.
So is that something they're going to try to work on and make happen, or are we just going to approve this and go forward with the way it's done?
Mike, this is Meredith. Are you talking about the connector with Ocean Commerce Park?
No, I'm talking about a connector on the south side of the property. Ocean Commerce Park and this proposed curb cut are going to be right next to each other.
It's actually going to be much further away than it is now.
Okay.
Right now the curb cut is I don't know how many feet, but I would say 20 or less. And now they're eliminating that northern curb cut and moving it south to create more distance between the cut at Ocean Commerce Park and the old Times Printing Building. I know that I've turned into the Times Printing Building thinking I was going into Ocean Commerce Park more than once.
Or Harris Teeter.
That's
what I was talking. So they're planning on moving that one then.
Yes. They're eliminating it, and then depending on how you look at it, there's 2 cuts there now. It's going to be one, and it's going to be more towards the middle of the property than it is to the north side at Ocean Commerce Park.
Okay, so there's okay. I must have
So
misread it.
there will be additional separation. I think it's going to be fairly significant compared to what it is now. As far as interconnection, I understand your recommendation. We do promote interconnectivity. We do not count lot coverage for driveways or connections between 2 properties on either. We don't count that lot coverage for either side. There's been no talk about making an interconnectivity on site between Ocean Commerce Park and the Harris Teeter fueling station. And I know that y'all probably been in there. There is also a fairly significant gradient differential between the 2 properties, which that connection may be very difficult, but it has not been talked about. The interconnection has been made between the Harris Teeter and the Harris Teeter fuel station. And just a side note, they have the same name, but they're 2 different companies. So it's not like we can get Harris Teeter Grocery to do this for Harris Teeter Fuel or Harris Teeter Fuel to do this for Harris Teeter Grocery. They're 2 different entities, both under Harris Teeter, but they're separate. So it's not the same business. We would need to look at it like it's a totally different gas station just because it says Harris Teeter and it's near Harris Teeter. So they have created the interconnectivity with the Harris Teeter entrance and theirs to try to promote that safe movement of traffic in and out of the site.
Okay, I must have missed where it was connected then, to the Harris Teeter entrance on the
Yeah.
south. I looked
Yeah.
at it. I tried to see where it was going to be, but it looked like a straight line with no breaks to me. But like I said, I'm not very good at reading those types of plans because I don't deal
Mike,
with them every day.
This is Cameron again. If you look back at the plan online, under that larger plans, actual site plan, if you go to sheet C2-1, you're going to be able to see where there's one entrance off 158 and then an interconnecting onto the existing grocery store entrance as well. So you do have that interconnectivity.
Okay. Because the one I looked at had two curb cuts on 158, one at the north and one at the south, and none of that other one. So I must have just missed the second one in my package.
So what you saw was the existing features site plan, which is one of the very first sheets. Going through this plan set, you've got a general survey, and then you've got their demo plan, and then their erosion control, and then their proposed site plan. So looking back, really, if you want to get the gist of the major site plan, it's C2-1 is the sheet you're going to look for.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Anyone else?
No, that answered all my questions that I had in that conversation.
Mark?
I think I'm good. Everybody's done a good job on it. It was a lot of stuff. The only other thing I had, I was reading through the fire marshal had requested maybe the radius as you're turning in there. I guess that was from a fire apparatus standpoint. Cameron, are we good with that? Or everything, we feel good with that?
We are. They used our maximum radiuses that we allow for a fire apparatus of 25 feet for both their entrance on US 158 and the interconnectivity, which will certainly provide for better traffic flow and allow our fire apparatus to get in and out of that site from not just one location off the highway, but also off of that connection from the existing grocery store.
Cool. Got you. I'm good.
They want to go get their fuel trucks
Ron?
too.
I'm good.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Motion would be in order.
Okay, this is Mark. I'm gonna make a motion that we forward this site plan review, Harris Teeter Fuel Center, 2006, Croatown Highway in the commercial zone. Forward that to the Board of Commissioners and attach the consistency statement as well.
With the changes.
With the changes that that Cameron has, as long as the changes are made, yes.
Have a second?
This is Ron. I'll second.
Any discussion? The motion to approve and send forward to the Board of Commissioners presented by Mark Evans, seconded by Ron Sedman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Garrett, for being here.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Second order of business, the recommended zoning amendment.
That's me. In front of you is an amendment to our site plan review process to modify the approval process for permitted uses to make permitted uses an administrative approval process for all permitted uses. Currently, single family and duplex dwellings are permitted uses and they're approved administratively. And what this will do, it will take multifamily and commercial permitted uses and also make them an administrative approval unless there is an issue, in which time they would come to the planning board and board of commissioners. Permitted uses are use by right as defined. And with that, it means that the property owner has the right to use the land as a permitted use, meaning that if it meets our town code, that the site plan cannot be denied. So we've been going through the planning board, board of commissioners process for many, many site plans that even if you didn't like them, you couldn't deny them. We're trying to streamline this process save the applicants a lot of time and a lot of money. They have to produce currently 45 sets of site plans to go through the Planning Board, Board of Commissioners process. This would help them. Also, it would help with the time frame in which applications can be approved. And just as a side note, Dare County routinely does administrative approval for single structure commercial developments in their zoning district, as does Duck. I was unable to get up with Kitty Hawk in a timely manner to see what they do. I also think that Nags Head does a lot of administrative approval for their commercial, but they are under a different, they use a different type of zoning. They do
A UDO?
a UDO, which is much more complicated. And so every single thing has a different,
Well, there's a lot more conditional uses.
there's a lot more conditional uses or special use permits, conditional use and special use permits, or permitted uses that somehow cannot meet the ordinance or need to be reviewed by the Planning Board, Board of Commissioners. The staff denies it. They have the right to come to the Planning Board, Board of Commissioners for review. There's a couple things in our ordinance that may send commercial plans to you. There's things that say at the discretion of the Board of Commissioners or as deemed fit by the Board of Commissioners. Those would automatically come to the Planning Board, Board of Commissioners. But if it's a straight up permitted use and they meet all aspects of the zoning ordinance, staff feels like we need to move to streamline these processes and get these approved in a more timely and effective manner. So therefore, that's the zoning amendment that's in front of you. It's an amendment to 3 different sections. You'll see in the strike-throughs that will require a lot less site plans from them, and the time frame will go from 6 weeks to 10 to 20 days, which is significant. And 6 weeks is optimistic. It depends on the scheduling of the board meetings. Sometimes that can be up to 8 or 9 weeks. And administratively, we can probably do it in 10 to 20 days. So
Any questions?
I'll answer any questions you may have.
No, this is Ron. I think it's great. I think this is probably a move that was needed. I thought we used to do this back in the day, but maybe I'm mistaken. But I'm for it.
Mike, you have anything?
No, I'm satisfied.
Mark?
I'm good.
A motion would be in order?
Don't forget the consistency statement in your motion, please.
Got it. Okay, Mark here again. I'll make a motion that we approve and pull it up with the recommendation. Statute 153.355, 153.357, 153.359, and 153.361, modify approval process for permitted uses to administrative process.
Consistency.
And the
The past I have are the text messages that it.
Second. Anyone have a second?
Mike Loack will second that motion.
I don't think it's really going to affect.
Any discussion?
It may be unnecessary.
Mark Evans made a motion to move forward with the modification to the zoning amendment as permitted with the consistency statement. Seconded by Mike Loack. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Second public comment. Any board member comment?
Now, I'd like to thank the staff for working so hard in these trying times. I know it's not easy. So thank you.
Thank
And
you
I would
for
like,
being patient with us.
well, and again, I'd like to thank everyone this morning for doing this. I know it's really about the only way we could do it, but get up and get moving and get this done was good for everybody, I think, and I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman.
This is
Uh,
Meredith. I want to
ma'am?
thank this is Meredith. I want to thank the planning board members. I know that this was didn't get to you as quickly as you would have liked. You were our guinea pigs for our first Zoom meeting. We'll do better next time, but we appreciate y'all being patient with us and reviewing things so quickly and being so efficient in the meeting. Appreciate it very much.
You're
welcome,
welcome.
Mayor.
Not a
Thank
problem.
y'all. I think it went, all in all, being the first one, I think it went pretty smoothly myself.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Got some
one
feedback.
moment.
How's it now?
Are we
He's
good?
muted himself for the moment.
Michael
Oh,
wants to
okay.
say something, but he had to get his electronics straight. Hold on a second.
Thank you.
It's Michael.
We just had a bit of a sound loop. We're getting it covered.
You still got it.
Things were going so smoothly.
He's going to
I
have to
know.
run down to Cameron's.
Leave
Y'all
it to Michael.
spoke too soon.
Okay. Better?
Yes.
Yes.
With the second public comment, we have the option of the attendees, which we actually have 9 people listening in. If they would
Okay.
like to raise their hand electronically on the Zoom program, we can unmute them and they can provide any comment if they would like to do that.
Oh, okay.
Do we have anyone, Michael?
I'm checking right now. Not currently seeing anyone. Sure. Other than me testing it, we do not have anyone raising their hand. So
Okay.
there were no one asking to participate.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michael. Harriet, I'll be in the first of the week to sign my papers. Can she hear me?
She can.
I am here.
Okay, I'll be in the first of the week to sign the paperwork.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. If there's no other business, a motion for adjournment?
Mike Lowack would like to make a motion that we adjourn this first virtual meeting of the Kill Devil Hills Planning Board.
Have a second?
Ron will second.
Motion for adjournment by Mike Lowack, second by Ron Sedman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
guys.
day.
Yeah.